Hey everyone, and welcome to this deep dive. And today we're talking all about the power of English.
Yeah, exciting stuff.
It's amazing to think about the impact this language has
Right.
on the world. I mean, think about how many people speak English.
It's wild. Over 1.5 billion people, that's like 20% of the entire planet.
Wow, that's huge. And I bet for someone who's learning English right now, that's got to be pretty motivating.
Oh, absolutely. It really shows you the potential, the doors that English can open.
For sure. And for our listeners out there who are Arabic speakers, learning English.
It adds such a valuable layer to your communication skills.
Yeah, I mean, Arabic is a beautiful and rich language on its own, but think about adding English to that.
It's like having this superpower to connect with people from all over the world.
Exactly. And it's not just about casual conversations either. English has become so central to, well, pretty much every aspect of global interaction.
Absolutely. You see it in international business, diplomacy, even just traveling the world.
Okay, so let's break that down a bit. When we talk about English being important for business, what exactly do we mean? How does it play out in the global market?
Well, just look at the digital world, for example. Over half of all websites are in English.
Wow, that's a lot.
It is. And what that means is anyone who wants to be part of the online world, whether it's accessing information, doing business online.
Connecting with people on social media, all of that, it basically requires English.
Exactly. And for Arabic speakers, especially those who are looking to expand their reach globally, learning English is a game changer.
Totally. It's like you said, it opens doors.
It does. You suddenly have access to markets, to information, to opportunities that might not have been there before.
It's almost like having this digital passport. You can connect with businesses in Europe,
Collaborate on projects in Asia.
make online courses from experts all over the world. The possibilities are pretty much endless.
They are, and it's not just about tapping into existing markets, but creating new ones as well.
Okay, so how does that work?
Well, imagine this. You have a fantastic business idea, and you want to pitch it to investors in London or Dubai. You're presenting your research at an international conference. You're launching a global online business. All of this becomes much more achievable when you have strong English skills.
That's amazing. And, it really highlights how learning English, it's not just an advantage anymore. It's practically a necessity.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that, especially in our interconnected world.
Right. I mean, from Zoom meetings with colleagues across different time zones,
To collaborating on software development projects.
attending global conferences, even something as simple as navigating a website. English has become the common language that ties it all together.
It really has, and it's exciting to think about the potential that this unlocks for so many people.
Definitely. But let's be real for a moment. Learning a new language, it takes effort.
Yeah, for sure.
It takes dedication, and especially for someone who's coming from a language like Arabic, which has a completely different structure.
Writing system, everything. Yeah, it can
Yeah.
be challenging.
It can feel overwhelming at times, so what would you say to someone who's maybe feeling a little bit discouraged?
I'd say, first of all, remember that every single successful English speaker was once in your shoes.
Right. They started from scratch, made mistakes, faced obstacles.
And they overcame them. The key is to not let those challenges define your journey.
It's about seeing those challenges as opportunities to learn and grow.
Exactly. And that's where mindset comes in. Believing in yourself and your ability to master this language.
It's a powerful thing.
It is. And, speaking of challenges,
Right, yeah.
one of the things I often hear from Arabic speakers is that they struggle with certain English sounds that just don't exist in their native language.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's totally natural, and it's something you can absolutely work on. There are tons of resources available specifically for Arabic speakers learning English pronunciation.
That's good to know.
There are videos, tutorials, even apps that break down these specific sounds and give you techniques to practice.
So it's about being aware of those specific challenges and then seeking out the right resources to address them.
Exactly. And don't underestimate the power of listening. Surround yourself with English as much as possible. Listen to music, watch movies, podcasts.
Even just having conversations with native speakers or other learners.
Yes, all of that helps to train your ear and get comfortable with the rhythm and flow of the language.
But it's fun, too.
It is, making the learning process enjoyable is so important. It helps with motivation. It keeps you engaged.
And it makes the whole experience a lot less daunting.
Absolutely, because Ultimately, learning English shouldn't feel like a chore. It should feel like an adventure.
I love that. An adventure.
It is. It's a journey of discovery, of connecting with new people, new cultures, and opening yourself up to a world of possibilities.
And with the right mindset, the right resources, and a little bit of dedication.
Anyone can master English.
Well said.
And, I think one of the most valuable things you can do is to find ways to make English a part of your daily life, not just something you study in a classroom.
So what does that look like practically?
It could be as simple as setting aside 15 minutes every day to read an English article,
Go.
watch a short video, listen to a podcast on your commute. The key is consistency.
It's about building those small habits that over time really add up.
Exactly. It's like building a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets.
I like that analogy.
And, one thing I'd really encourage our listeners to do is to think about their why.
Their why?
Yeah, why are you learning English? What are your goals?
That's a good question.
It is, because having a clear sense of purpose can be incredibly motivating. It helps you stay focused when things get tough, and it makes the whole journey a lot more meaningful.
So for someone out there who's listening to this and they're just starting their English language journey, what would you say is the most important thing to keep in mind?
I'd say embrace the process, enjoy the journey, and remember that every step you take, no matter how small,
It's bringing you closer to your goals.
it is, and the world is full of incredible opportunities waiting for those who speak English, so keep going, you got this.
So inspiring.
And speaking of opportunities, we were talking earlier about the role of English in the global market,
Yeah.
and I think it's worth diving a little deeper into how mastering English can really open doors in the business world.
Absolutely. Let's explore that.
So imagine you're an Arabic speaker, you have this brilliant product or service,
Okay.
but your target audience is international. How do you reach them?
English becomes essential.
Right. It does. It becomes the bridge that connects you to potential customers, partners, investors all over the world.
It's like unlocking a whole new level of business growth and expansion.
Precisely. And it's not just about being able to communicate your ideas, it's about understanding the nuances of international business culture.
Oh, that's interesting. Tell me more about that.
Well, different cultures have different communication styles, different etiquette, even different ways of approaching negotiations.
So being aware of those cultural differences can make or break a deal.
It absolutely can, and that's where learning English goes beyond just grammar and vocabulary.
It's about developing that cultural intelligence, that sensitivity to how things are done in different parts of the world.
Exactly, and that kind of awareness, it builds trust, it strengthens relationships, and it ultimately makes you a more effective global business professional.
And for someone who's maybe thinking about starting their own business,
Or looking to advance their career in a multinational company.
this cultural understanding becomes even more crucial.
It does, because you're not just competing on a local level anymore.
You're on a global stage.
You're interacting with people from all walks of life, and English becomes that common ground, that shared language that allows you to connect and collaborate effectively.
It's fascinating to see how language and business are so intertwined.
They are, and it's not just about the big corporations or international deals either.
Right.
Even small businesses, entrepreneurs, freelancers, anyone who's working online.
They're all benefiting from the power of English.
Because the internet has made the world a much smaller place, and English has become the language of global commerce.
So it's like no matter what your aspirations are, whether you're dreaming of launching a tech startup, building a global brand, or simply expanding your freelance clientele.
English opens those doors.
And for our Arabic-speaking listeners, it's adding this incredibly valuable skill set to their already rich cultural background.
It's a powerful combination.
It is. And, one of the things I've noticed is that there's this amazing sense of community among English language learners.
Oh, absolutely.
People from all over the world coming together, supporting each other, sharing their experiences.
It's inspiring, and it shows that no one's on this journey alone.
Exactly. There are online forums, language exchange groups, local meetups.
Tons of resources to connect with fellow learners.
And I think that sense of community, it really makes a difference. It helps you stay motivated. It provides a support system.
And it reminds you that you're part of something bigger.
Yeah, it's like a global movement of people who are all striving towards the same goal to unlock the power of English.
And, one of the most rewarding things about learning English is that it's a continuous journey of discovery. You never stop learning. There's always something new to explore.
I agree, and that's what makes it so exciting.
It keeps things fresh, it keeps you engaged, and it challenges you to constantly grow.
And I think that's a great message to leave our listeners with today.
I agree.
Embrace the challenges, enjoy the journey, and remember that every step you take is bringing you closer to fluency
To confidence.
and to a world of possibilities.
Exactly. And you know what else makes this journey easier? Technology.
Oh, yeah, for sure. There are so many amazing apps and resources out there these days.
Right, and a lot of them are specifically designed for Arabic speakers learning English.
It's like having a personalized language tutor right in your pocket.
Exactly, and they make it fun too, using games, quizzes, interactive exercises.
It's a far cry from those old school textbooks and memorization drills.
Oh yeah, it's way more engaging and way more effective.
And it takes the pressure off. It feels less like studying and more like, well, playing a game.
Definitely. And as you get more comfortable with the basics,
Yeah.
don't be afraid to step outside your comfort zone and actually use your English in real-life situations.
I was just thinking about that because it's one thing to learn grammar rules and vocabulary,
Right.
but it's a whole other level to actually use the language in conversation.
It is, and that's where the real magic happens, putting yourself out there, practicing with native speakers or other learners.
So where can people find these opportunities?
Oh, there are tons of options. You could join an online language exchange group, attend a local conversation club, or even just strike up a conversation with someone at a coffee shop.
I love that, just creating those immersive experiences that force you to use the language actively.
Exactly. And the more you do it, the more confident you'll become.
Confidence is key, and it often comes from embracing those inevitable mistakes that we all make when learning a new language.
Oh, for sure. You got to see those mistakes as stepping stones, not roadblocks.
And we were talking earlier about pronunciation challenges that Arabic speakers might face.
Yeah, that's a common one.
Any tips on how to overcome those?
Well, first of all, don't get discouraged. It's something you can definitely work on. And there are lots of resources out there that focus specifically on pronunciation for Arabic speakers.
Like what kind of resources?
You can find videos and tutorials that break down the specific sounds that might be tricky.
Okay.
They offer techniques for practicing them. You can even record yourself and listen back. It's like having your own pronunciation coach.
That's cool. And I've also found that having a language partner or a tutor can be incredibly helpful.
Oh, absolutely. Someone to practice with regularly, get feedback on your pronunciation, learn from each other's experiences. It makes a huge difference.
And it adds that social element to the learning process, which can be really motivating.
It is. And while we're talking about the learning process, we can't forget about the cultural aspects of English.
That's a great point because language and culture, they're so intertwined.
They are, and understanding the cultural context can really enrich your learning experience.
So it's not just about memorizing words and grammar rules.
Right.
It's about understanding the nuances of how English is used in different social situations, appreciating the cultural values that shape the language.
Exactly. And that's where things get really interesting, exploring English literature, movies, music, even social customs.
It's like adding another dimension to the whole learning process.
It is, and it helps you connect with people from different backgrounds on a much deeper level.
And I imagine it can also be incredibly helpful when navigating business interactions in international settings.
Oh, absolutely. Being aware of cultural differences in communication styles, etiquette, even humor.
Yeah, all that plays a role.
It does. It can make or break a deal. It can make or break a relationship. So that cultural sensitivity is really key.
So, for our Arabic-speaking listener who's eager to dive into the global marketplace, what specific advice would you give them in terms of leveraging their English skills?
I'd say focus on building a strong foundation in business English.
Okay, so what does that look like?
It means mastering industry-specific vocabulary,
Yeah.
understanding common business idioms and expressions, practicing your presentation and negotiation skills, really honing those professional communication skills.
And there are plenty of resources available to help with that, right?
Tons of them. You've got specialized online courses, business English dictionaries, even practice simulations for common business scenarios.
It's like a whole world of business English support waiting to be discovered.
It is. And don't underestimate the power of networking.
Networking, yeah.
Attend industry events, join online forums, connect with professionals in your field who speak English.
Build those relationships.
Exactly, because practicing your English in these real-world settings, it boosts your confidence and it opens doors to new opportunities.
It's all about putting yourself out there, showing what you know, and making those connections.
Exactly. And remember, learning English is a journey, not a destination.
It's a continuous process of growth and discovery.
Embrace the challenges, celebrate the milestones, and never stop exploring the endless possibilities that come with mastering this global language.
Beautifully said. I love that. Learning English is an adventure.
It's an adventure that can take you anywhere you want to go.
And for our Arabic-speaking listeners, it's an adventure that starts right here, right now.
So let's get started, shall we?
Let's do it. It's amazing to think about the potential that opens up for our listeners, you know, combining their Arabic language skills with fluency in English.
It really is a powerful combination, bridging cultures, connecting with people from all walks of life.
And as we wrap up this deep dive,
Yeah.
I think it's important to remember that learning English,
Hmm.
it's not just about, economic advancement or career goals.
Right.
It's also about personal growth, cultural enrichment, expanding your understanding of the world.
It's about broadening your horizons, opening yourself up to new ideas, new perspectives.
And for someone who already speaks Arabic,
Yeah.
adding English to that, it creates this unique blend of cultural understanding.
It does. And, speaking of cultural understanding,
Yeah.
I think it's important to remember that English itself is incredibly diverse.
Oh, that's interesting.
There are so many different varieties of English spoken around the world.
Right. Different accents, different dialects.
Exactly. Each with its own unique flavor, its own cultural influences.
So it's not just about learning like standard English.
Yeah.
It's also about appreciating these variations
Absolutely, because in a globalized world, you're going to be interacting with people from all different backgrounds.
and being able to understand and appreciate those different accents and dialects
That makes you a more effective communicator.
and a more culturally sensitive individual.
Exactly. It's like appreciating the different spices in a global cuisine.
I love that analogy.
Each one adds its own unique flavor to the overall experience.
That's a great way to put it. And, as we come to the end of our deep dive here,
Yeah.
what final words of encouragement would you offer to our listeners who are on this journey of learning English?
I would say embrace the journey, celebrate your progress, and don't be afraid to make mistakes along the way.
Mistakes are part of the process.
They're opportunities to learn and grow, and most importantly, have fun with it.
Yes, have fun.
Explore the language, immerse yourself in the culture, and enjoy the incredible rewards that come with mastering English.
Beautifully said. So, to our listeners out there, we're cheering you on every step of the way.
You got this.
Keep those goals in mind, stay curious, and never stop exploring. The world is waiting for you.
It is.